And we've got a question in the Q&A actually. So who would be the top 3 stakeholders for an organization? So I'm going to come to Shadi again. We'll go around in order again. And it'll be interesting to see if we get the same 3 from each of you, or, you know, so on the spot, Shadi, who are your top 3 stakeholders for ITAM to engage with?
Say it's the CIO first and foremost, because they ultimately are responsible for the governance and the risk component and the IT and strategy, and ultimately they need to know the risks and the opportunities that may impact the business continuity, and that's something that ITAM can support them with. Procurement is always important as well, because they're always targeted on savings and cost reductions. And again, it's the risks as well as opportunities that may have an impact on their goals that they need to get from the ITAM team in terms of input. And a third one, I would say, I could say the CFO, but I'm actually going to go and say the business owners across the organization, because more and more the decisions on technology and software solutions especially is made at a business level. They're the ones that dictate what SaaS products they want to use and how they want their team's productivities improved leveraging technology. And again, they're becoming more of an important and integral stakeholder to a successful and strong ITAM practice, because they're the ones that need to have that data visibility and be informed on better decision makings and better investments. I guess by business owners, I mean essentially the departments outside of your traditional IT practice. For example, marketing could be one. They're the ones that generally tend to make a lot of investments on different tools and applications. Or product management within an organization is another good example, where a lot of software is utilized and decision making around investments in technology are made. So those kinds of your non-IT departments, I guess, is what I'm referring to here as business owners.
So we've got CIO, procurement, and business owners there. Rebecca, anyone that you would add to that list?
Yeah. So definitely, just to get specific within the CIO, probably pillar would be security for sure. That's a big one that we're seeing a lot. I'm going to throw a couple of maybe not obvious ones, but maybe that are rising stakeholders. So I would say any part of the business unit specifically that have to do with internal or external governance. In particular, data governance is a big one, right? You can't figure out where the data is or where it's going to unless you can figure out all of the assets that data passes through or interacts with. And then the third one I would say is this is a bit of a wild card. Might depend on your organization and what some of those business goals and strategies are for you and in the upcoming year or years. And that would be mergers and acquisitions. That's a really big one where you can bring a ton of value during both the pre-acquisition phase, but also then, of course, and obviously, post-acquisition. So those are fun areas to get involved in.
Ted, anyone that you would add in your top 3?
Well, I guess I'll include an obvious one first, and then maybe another not so obvious one to go with that trend. Obvious would be, the finance and CFO level. Having that insight from your asset data, your asset register, so that they can make the right decisions on contracting, leasing, et cetera. That's important. Having that level of minutia detail that you would have in the asset systems is not always visible to finance. So enabling that is always very powerful for them to have that insight. Maybe it's something else that's not so obvious. It's a big. Everyone's competing for employees, and having the best employees and maintaining employees is important right now. So employee happiness and maintaining employee happiness is critical. ITAM could contribute to that, right? So how efficient your workflow processes are in requesting assets, and how automated it is, your ITAM processes are to make their life easier, because ultimately you're supporting your employees.